Hey, what's going on, guys? Greg here today, bringing us a Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay commentary. I'm sure you guys will be watching backgrounds of 50-2 Team Deathmatch, but today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I have a lot of graphics we're going to be going over on things to explain the Team Deathmatch guide to you guys, and this is something I wanted to do to switch up my content, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and let me know in the comment section below if there's anything or any recommendations you guys have. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into the Team Deathmatch guide. So starting off with the rules of Team Deathmatch, in 6v6 you have 10 minutes and 75 kills to get as a team, and in 10v10 you have 10 minutes and 100 kills to get as a team. Let's start off with some general tips now that you guys know the rules. So for Team Deathmatch, you want to stick to your teammates, but at the same time you also want to be pushing for map control, and what I mean by this is about the halfway point of each map and trying to lock down those power positions. But you also want to make sure you're not going too far from your teammates, or else you'll get overrun by too many enemies coming at you at once. Now, one of the things you should keep in mind is the enemies will almost always be in front of you, and the reason being is we'll go over this a little bit later with how the spawn system works in Team Deathmatch, but just keep this in mind. Run kill streaks you are capable of earning. We will go over some of the best kill streaks you can run in Team Deathmatch, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you are going to be able to earn them consistently. As you earn more kill streaks consistently, you can start going for those higher streaks, so that way you can get adjusted to how you have to play for higher streaks. But as you're improving at the game, I would recommend running the streaks that you feel most comfortable earning consistently. Now, don't camp and spawn. You will get spawn trapped if you do this, and also you will have people running your spawn, and overall this is how you lose games. All the games I pretty much lose in Team Deathmatch is because my teammates are way too afraid to get map control and they just sit and spawn ADSing. This is especially common on maps like Euphrates Bridge, and it is one of the worst strategies possible because you're just going to lose if you do this. So again, do not camp and spawn, get comfortable with moving up to mid-map and winning those gunfights. Finally, you want to be making sure you are learning the timing it takes to get from point A to point B. And what I mean by this is from whenever you spawn in, you move from a point to the point where you want to go. It could be mid-map, it could be 3/4 of the way through the map, whatever. You just want to learn the timing, because at the same time you're learning that, you will also be learning the timing that it takes for an enemy to respawn and to get back to that point. Now that we went over some general tips, let's start talking about strategies. So for Euphrates Bridge 10 versus 10, we're going to be taking a look at this example, and we're going to be spawning on the left side of the map. So first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to rush to the bridge and get underneath. Now, you either want to be on the car that is right underneath as soon as you go through in the middle section, or you want to cut through the middle and go all the way out to the right, and you'll be able to cut people off there trying to get to the top of the bridge. Now, there might be some people that will meet you there first, because it depends if they're running double time or just depends on how quickly you can get there. But you want to be pre-aiming underneath if you are going through underneath to be going towards the A domination flag. So once you get there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go for a couple picks before you decide if you want to push in to their building and try to take people out as they are spawning in, or trying to push up towards the bridge. Now let's talk about if you are spawning on the other side of the map. So this is going to be a Euphrates Bridge 10v10 example again, but if you're spawning on the right side of the map. So my favorite route to take is to go underneath the bridge yet again. We're going to cut through the middle underneath and go over towards the right side of the map here. And what we are going to do is we're going to try to cut people off that are going towards the bridge. Now again, they might get there first. You have to be pre-aiming that. Make sure you get the pick of the person who's trying to rush it. And then you're going to want to go there and try to get a few more picks before you decide if you want to push their building or if you want to push buses, depending on how the traffic is flowing during that match. So getting back to the gameplay here in the background, as you guys can see, I'm in middle map looking for picks, trying to get my streaks, just trying to streak up, keep rotating around. It's changing up my position so that way the enemies do not know where I'm at. And basically you want to get a feel for enemies that are starting to come back for you, and that's why you want to keep switching things up, because people get into hunting mode, which is something that's going to happen whenever you're trying to go on kill streaks and you're trying to earn streaks to help your team win the game. So whenever the enemies are in hunting mode, that means they are going to be coming back to those exact spots you killed them from, so you're going to want to constantly be switching up your spot and trying to outplay them. And again, knowing the timing from the general tip will help you understand how many enemies are going to be around at any given time, depending on how many people are dying or how many, like what's the flow of the match. So knowing timing will tell you how long someone it's going to take for them to come back once they spawn in, and knowing that just comes with practice and playing the game. Next up, we're going to have a look at the spawn logic, so that way you guys can further understand how the spawns work in Team Deathmatch. As for spawn logic, let's talk about how spawns work here in Team Deathmatch. So, spawns work as a side versus side. I would like you to think of this as it's a game of tug of war. Basically, it's going to be both sides trying to fight for the middle map control and pushing the enemies back towards the other side of the spawn. Now, spawns will only flip if the majority of the team pushes full or you push too deep. And generally, even if you push too deep, you'll probably die before you can even flip the spawn, so don't be too worried about that. But to avoid spawn flips, don't push back past 3/4 of the full map size, because this will minimize your chances of being shot in the back, and that is why you don't want to flip the spawns. So ultimately, you might be wondering, where should I be on the map to be helping my team control it? And we're going to look at this Euphrates Bridge 10v10 example again, as if we're spawning on the right side of the map. So we're going to be wanting to go to this orange area I have circled, and the reason I have this circled here is because 1, it's not going to cause a spawn flip, 2, it's going to give your teammates better spawns so that way they can get back into the action quicker, and 3, the enemies are going to have a hard time breaking out of this, and you're not going to have to worry about getting shot in the back because, again, they are pushed furthest back into their spawn as possible. Just to help you guys out, we're going to also show the other side for our Euphrates Bridge example. So this time we're going to be spawning on the left side of the map, and this is generally the area you want to patrol whenever you are trying to keep the enemies in their spawn. So basically you're going to go up again to halfway point of the map, which is the bridge, and you're going to either want to control construction or you're going to want to control the house that's in front of that little spawn hut, as well as the fob and everything back there. So this is going to be your most effective area in order to keep the enemies from, of course, spawn flipping, as well as making sure that the fights stay within your field of view and you don't have to worry about people shooting you in the back. Just remember that those are perfect scenarios, and not every single match is going to be playing out that way. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, you're going to have to keep practicing. You're going to have to keep going to that middle map. You're going to want to keep trying to fight for map control. And eventually you're going to be able to break through, and you're going to start learning, okay, how is the traffic going to come to me? Again, that was the perfect scenario where your teammates would be positioned so that way the spawns are going to be influenced to be pushed up a little bit further so you can keep holding the enemy back in their spawn from getting map control and doing the same thing to you. But let's go ahead and get into the kill streaks now, because I have a few recommendations for kill streaks. Since the objective in Team Deathmatch is to get kills, your kill streaks are going to heavily influence how you win the game or whatnot. So let's go ahead and get right into that. For our kill streaks, let's go ahead and take a look at our low kill streak category. So this is going to be my kill streak setup recommendation for newer players. Now, I know I made a video saying the personal radar is not my favorite kill streak, and the reason being is it gives away your position if people are aware of that. But with it, it's a double-edged sword because it's only a 3 kill streak or 2 with hardline, which I would recommend if you are a newer player that you run hardline and you use this kill streak setup, because it's only going to take you 4 kills to get your maximum amount of streaks. So for it to sort of reveal where enemies are going to be, unless they're running Ghost, I'd say it's worth it if you don't earn streaks all that often. The care package is going to give you a chance of earning some higher kill streaks, and the cruise missile will pretty much guarantee you a free kill. Moving on to the medium kill streaks section, this is basically where we're going to be starting to get a little bit of higher streaks. The UAV starts at 4 kills, and this is going to help you see where enemies are, and it's also going to help your team out as well. The precision airstrike is good for getting people out of power positions, as well as head glitches and out of buildings if you aim it at a window. Lastly, we have the VTOL jet, which is going to be a little bit of air support for you guys, which will basically hover over a position that you place it at, and it will guard that area, getting kills on players that are not running cold-blooded, and overall it's a pretty decent kill streak. Now for our high kill streak selection, we are going to be using the UAV, which is going to help us get those kills. That is going to help us get a VTOL jet at 8 kills. And then lastly, we'll get our chopper gunner at 10 kills. I find this to be the most effective Team Deathmatch kill streak setup because it is consistent to earn, not super hard, and it gets a lot of kills to help you guys towards winning those Team Deathmatch games. So there we have it. Those are the main tips I have for playing Team Deathmatch, and hopefully you guys have learned something from that. Now, I will say that I know you guys might be wondering, well, what about class setups? What about perk setups? What about the field upgrades and all that jazz? And listen, here's the thing, okay? Your playstyle is going to heavily influence what kind of weapons, what kind of perks, and backfield upgrades you are going to use. If you play a little bit more defensive, you're obviously going to want resistance perks. If you're playing more aggressive, you're going to want to maybe use something like Quick Fix or Hardline or even Tracker. Or maybe even stealth perks. You know, it just really depends on your playstyle, and that's the reason I don't want to go over attachments as well as perks. Instead, I would rather just make videos on the individual class setups themselves, and that is something I can obviously do. And if you guys have any classes you would want me to make for you guys, and best class setups or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below what kind of weapons you guys would like to see. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over the rest of this gameplay as a normal commentary breakdown. So, as you guys can see, we are at 54 kills, and I'm calling up my Chopper Gunner. Now, again, the Chopper Gunner is so effective in Team Deathmatch. You guys will see that it gets a pretty good amount of kills whenever you are using this streak. Now, as for some Chopper Gunner tips, I always try to preach to people that you should time your Hydro Rockets properly. As you guys can see, the splash damage is from the Hydro Rockets. Whenever you're using the actual main turret, there is not a lot of splash damage on the Chopper Gunner. So what you want to do is you want to get used to timing your Hydro Rockets through windows, through doorways, and all that kind of stuff, so that way you can get a lot more kills with this kill streak and get the most amount of use out of it. Now, one of the things about the Chopper Gunner, and it should be noted, is it is extremely easy to shoot down this kill streak, and what I mean is people will just look up the sky, and the amount of damage bullets do to this streak, and the support helo, even the VTOL, is just absolutely insane, and it can be shot down super fast, so you want to make sure you're keeping that in mind. Now, since we were using that Chopper Gunner, our teammates pushed the warehouse back there, and that is why the spawn somewhat flipped. And right here, I heard this guy behind me, and that was why I was able to turn around and take him out. Now, you guys will see at this point, I am just patrolling their spawn, and this guy ends up spawning right behind me. He's got the, I believe it's the frangible disabling rounds, which is what will cause that little flashbang effect whenever you're shot in the feet. So keep that in mind. That is something that will happen right here. This is just unfortunate. I do not know how those decoy shots missed. It looked like I was right on him, but I guess I did end up missing my shot. So we still ended up picking a VTOL, which honestly, if I got my kills, we were pretty much going to win this game. So if I got my Chopper Gunner or support helo, it really wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Maybe I would have been able to get more kills, but I can't guarantee that, because sometimes, you know, teammates might go off right at the end or whatnot, depending on their positioning on the map. So as you will see, a lot of my teammates are too afraid to push up, and most of them are just sitting in the back of the map, and that is not how you want to be playing. You want to constantly be trying to gain map control, and most of my teammates are taking their grand old time to get up to mid-map where there is nobody at anyways, so that is why I am able to get so many kills this game, because my teammates are not pushing up, and basically I have to do all this work up here, you know, just doing my thing, running the spawn, and trying to streak up and get a lot of kills. And that's why I'm able to get these high kill TDMs, is because my teammates simply just do not want to push up. But anyways, overall score, I believe, was 50-2, and I was using the support helo instead of the UAV, just for variety's sake. Again, I would recommend running the UAV. The support helo doesn't do too much damage, but it's up to you guys what you want to use. And at the end of the day, those are just my suggestions, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.